Hello, and welcome to this presentation on understanding your window of tolerance. My name is Ron Huxley, and in this presentation, we're going to explore a powerful concept called the window of tolerance. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist who's been in the field for over 30 years working in the area of trauma and trauma informed care. We're going to look at the framework that will help us better understand stress, trauma, emotional overwhelm, shutdown, and nervous system regulation. Whether you're a therapist, helping professional parent, caregiver, ministry leader, or someone working on your own healing journey, understanding your nervous system can change the way you relate to yourself and others. The goal of this presentation is simple: to help you recognize what happens when you move outside of your window of tolerance, and to give you practical, compassionate tools for returning to regulation, connection, and safety. First, what is the window of tolerance? Well, the window of tolerance is developed by psychiatrist Dr. Daniel Siegel. It describes a zone where our nervous system can function the best. When we are within this window, we can think clearly, feel emotions without being overwhelmed, stay connected to other people, make decisions, learn, reflect, and respond instead of react. Inside this window, the thinking part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex, stays online. We can think and feel at the same time. But when stress becomes too high, or when our nervous system perceives danger, we can move outside that window. Some people move into hyperarousal, a state of overwhelm and activation. Others move into hypoarousal, a state of shutdown and disconnection. Many people move between both states, hyperarousal and hypoarousal, depending on the stress, their trauma history, relationships, and life circumstances. One important thing to remember is this: your nervous system responses are not character flaws. Let me say that again. Your nervous system responses are not character flaws. They are adaptive survival responses. Your body is simply trying to protect you. The three zones of arousal. Let's look at the three main nervous system states. First is hyperarousal. That's too much. This is the fight or flight response. The nervous system becomes flooded with activation. People might experience anxiety, panic, anger, racing thoughts, muscle tension, hypervigilance, restlessness, and difficulty concentrating. The body is mobilized for survival. For some people, this can feel like being emotionally hijacked. Even small triggers may cause a large response when the nervous system is already overloaded. In the window of tolerance, it's just right. This is a regulated zone. We feel grounded, connected, and present. Not perfect, not emotionless, but regulated enough to stay connected and engaged. Within that window, breathing is steady, thinking is clearer, emotions feel manageable, and connection feels possible. This is where real healing work can happen. It's also where learning, creativity, problem solving, and meaningful relationships can grow. Now, hyperarousal. This is too little. This is a freeze or shutdown state. Instead of overwhelm, the nervous system moves towards collapse or disconnection. Think about your iPhone or your Android phone. When the power goes down, it goes into low power mode. It shuts off everything except the essential apps to keep things functioning. This is similar to hypoarousal. In it, people might experience numbness, fatigue, dissociation, emptiness, heaviness, low motivation, or just emotional flatness. Sometimes my clients describe it as, I can't feel anything, or I just checked out. I feel disconnected from myself and others. Again, this is not weakness. Shutdown is a survival response. The nervous system is simply trying to reduce overwhelm by decreasing activation. Here's the science behind it. The window of tolerance model is deeply connected to polyvagal theory and somatic trauma work. According to polyvagal theory, the autonomic nervous system operates through different survival pathways. When we feel safe and connected, The ventral vagal system supports social engagement and regulation. When danger is detected, the sympathetic nervous system activates the fight or flight. And when overwhelm becomes too much, the dorsal vagal system may trigger a freeze or shuts down state. Trauma can narrow the window of tolerance over time. When someone experiences repeated stress, adversity, neglect, or traumatic experiences without enough safety or recovery, the nervous system becomes more sensitive. Small triggers can create larger reactions. This is why trauma informed care matters so deeply today. The goal is not perfection, the goal is helping people widen their window over time. Here's why regulation has to come first. One of the most important clinical concepts here is this: people cannot do meaningful thinking work when they are outside their window. If someone is highly activated or shut down, inside alone is not going to be enough. The nervous system must feel safe. This is why trauma informed therapy often begins with grounding, regulation, safety, connection, body awareness, and co regulation. Before we can do deep processing, we have to regulate. But regulation is not avoiding emotions, it's creating enough nervous system capacity to stay present with emotions in a safe way. Evidence based regulation strategies offer some practical ways to help us widen the window of tolerance. The first is box breathing. Box breathing uses a steady rhythm of inhale, hold, exhale, and hold. Often it's for 4 seconds each. This helps slow activation and calm the body. It's especially helpful for hyperarousal. But for trauma survivors, breath holding can sometimes feel very activating. So it's important to go slowly and adapt as needed. Grounding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This grounding exercise reconnects attention to the present moment. You notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you taste. Sometimes I've done 2 things you can smell or taste, and then 1 thing that you feel grateful for. This helps people reduce panic, spiraling thoughts, or dissociation. The next is body scan. Body scan increases awareness of tension, sensations, and various nervous system cues. Many people move through life very disconnected from their own bodily signals. This practice will help build awareness gently and safety. We simply just do a quick body scan from head to toe. What do you notice in your body? Over time, people can become proficient at this. Movement and shaking. Movement is the next practical tool that helps people complete the stress response that might have become stuck. Walking, stretching, shaking, or rhythmic movement can help increase energy levels and help people reconnect to their bodies. This often helps hyperarousal states. Think yoga or dancing. Cold water splash. Cold water can activate the dive reflex and interrupt an escalating panic. It's often useful during very intense activation or emotional flooding. Some people like to put a bowl of water with ice and then they dunk their face in it or splash water on their face. That cold sensation interrupts that dive reflex and interrupts that hyperaroused activation state. Self-compassion pause. There are a lot of self-compassion practices, but one that I like is to overcome our sense of shame and self-criticism through a simple statement like, "This is hard right now. I'm going through a lot. I'm doing the best I can." Think what you would say to your best friend. You'd use kind words, right? Not critical words, call them an idiot or how stupid they are or put them down in some way. You'd use compassion. And here we're doing it for ourselves. This can help reduce that secondary distress that comes along with stress and trauma. Co-regulation. Human beings regulate through relationships. This is called co-regulation. A calm nervous system can help settle another person's nervous system. This happens through presence, tone of voice, eye contact, attunement, and a safe connection. In therapy, the relationship itself becomes part of the healing process. Outside therapy, supportive relationships are one of the strongest predictors of nervous system resiliency. The bottom line is we heal in connection. The GROW method. This is a method that I came up with to summarize my 30 years plus of experience in trauma and trauma informed care and do so in a practical way that people could follow. It's a four-state model that is an acronym of GROW or GROW. It provides a simple way to respond to nervous system dysregulation in real time. G is grow. We just simply pause, orient to the present moment, notice your breath, body, or surroundings. R is recognize. Name your current state to tame your current state. Am I overwhelmed, anxious, numb, disconnected? Name what you're carrying today. Notice what is dysregulating you or feels heavy. Naming that state will reduce confusion and increase your own awareness. O is open. Shift from judgment to curiosity and compassion. Instead of fighting your experiences, create compassionate space for it or to it. Oftentimes, we can't control the people or situations around us. We can only control our relationship to this situation. So instead of avoiding or dissociating or fighting, just remain open. And lastly, W is walk. Choose one supportive next step in your process. Breathing, movement, connection, grounding, and rest. Not perfection, just one small regulated step forward. W, or walk, is where we sustain the work that we're doing in the GRO phases of the GROW model. Widening that window. Healing is never about never becoming dysregulated or never having hyperaroused or hypoaroused moments. Every nervous system is going to move in and out of some activation. But healing is about recognizing it earlier, recovering more gently, building some flexibility, expanding capacity, increasing self awareness, and strengthening your connections. Over time, your window can widen. People will become more resilient, they can become more connected, more emotionally flexible, and able to stay present even when in stressful situations. And that will change relationships, parenting, leadership, therapy, organizational control and structure management, and everyday life. I want to thank you for being part of this presentation. I hope these resources have helped you better understand your nervous system and approach yourself and others with some greater compassion. Remember, your nervous system is not the enemy. It's been trying to protect you all along. And with some awareness, regulation, safe connection, and practice, healing will be possible. Get more resources and help at my website at familyhealer.tv. This will offer you trauma-informed care certification, ebook on the GROW method, and various resources such as widening your window of tolerance that will help you in your course of healing. Thanks for being here.